ahead and take you through some of the papers we've got for you here this morning. We'll start with Nigerian Tribune. Financial autonomy, panic in states as 437 local governments risk zero allocation this month. That's a big one right there. Beneath that lead story, importers lose 284 billion naira to cargo sampling at Lagos ports in 5 years, the paper reports here today. Meaning something needs to be done about that. On to Vanguard newspaper next. Consumer spending down as Nigerians remain gloomy on economy. So that also featuring there this morning on the front page of Vanguard newspaper. And then The Guardian, Supreme Court judgment. 21 states raised to hold elections as 489 local government areas face zero FAC allocations. So, suggesting, who knows, without that judgment, they might have been sitting tight or sitting pretty, if you will. And then have a look at Nigerian News Direct. Dangote to list refinery fertilizer plant on stock market Q1 2025. The paper reports this morning. Business Day reports that high yields force firms to reduce bond issuance by 98%. Yeah, that's what you're seeing right there as well this morning. Daily Independent, harsh environment slows telcos investment, impacts service quality. And then beneath that one, court orders ministry to disclose details of pact between FG and X. So all eyes on them now to see how they respond to that. Or Blueprint focuses on something entirely different. Attack on Trump beyond pale of democratic norms. Ascribed to Tinubu. The paper report as well this morning. Our Daily Trust, 6 years after Abuja-Kaduna Road project uncompleted. Daily Times, most states not viable, we don't need more. Abakoba, that's the lead story there. Of the Abuja Inquirer reports tension as FG predicts heavy floods in Garki, Gwagwalada. Administration alerts residents, warns of cholera spread. So that's the big one there. So let's see how they approach all of that one, which is on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer this morning. And the Nigerian Observer, 408 local government areas brace for no allocations as Supreme Court verdict takes effect. You get to see the rider Northwest, Southeast, North Central, most affected as Adamawa approaches Apex Court for interpretation. Those are some of the papers we've got for you this morning.
Well, I will not be able to resist what's on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, and still, of course, a reference to that judgment of the Supreme Court last week, which a good number of people are still talking about. Now we understand that some states are in panic mode, panicking states, as 437 local governments risk zero allocation this month. Of course, you'll find the story on the inside pages of the paper. The fate of caretaker committees, LCDAs hangs in balance as nation awaits fight back by governors. That's, of course, I'm talking about the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. You know, what's cheering about it? Well, a good number of people are cheering in. Of course, there are those who are still questioning constitutionality and all of that. And of course, we also heard Mr. Femi Falana saying last week that whether we like it or not, literally, the Supreme Court has rewritten, in a sense, the Constitution. Whether or not the constitutional amendment has will be going in that direction, we'll wait to see. But for me, it's the developmental aspects of it. It's the impact that this should make. So on the one hand is the fact that that matter has been laid out there. On the other hand is the challenge of implementing this judgment of the Supreme Court. Who are the people that will implement it? How will it be implemented? There are those who are saying that, look, we may be celebrating now, but the governors still have the local government chairman by the jugular one way or the other. I guess we'll wait to see how it all goes. But I'm just wanting now at this point to call on the people who live in these various communities. Please keep your eyes on the federal government, keep your eyes on the state government, but keep a closer eye on the local government chairman right next to you, because they are the ones who now have more than enough money to do the needful by the people. Take care of the environment, take care of health, and take care of the education, particularly the payment of teachers' salaries as and when due, so that their education is not, limited in any way. And also championing food security. I guess we'll talk about that one later, but that's my take this morning. Okay, Mark Fair and Chamberlain.
It's very tempting to follow up on your take, a very juicy take you have decided to, chomp on this morning with local government autonomy. I'm sure while a lot of people are excited about it, rightfully so, hoping that this will be the first of many in line of bringing development to the local government. There are those who are also saying, you know what, it's not yet. In fact, it's a long way from Uhuru. If a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, let's just say that we've just taken the first step. The journey is still very much, or let's say destination is still very much farther ahead. But no need to despair. At least there's something to look forward to. Let's not forget that just yesterday, local government elections were held in Adamawa and Delta states. And no surprise, the party in power at the center, took up all the local government seats. I think in one of the states, the other parties refused to participate and were looking for ways to see how they could put it on hold. That's because we still know that somehow the electoral bodies at the state level are still not living up to expectation. They're not still doing things as I'm sure if you ask them, they will have, wonderful news to tell you about how they're doing things according to the book. But the results, sometimes point to the contrary. But let us hope that this would, awaken interest. Because ideally what this should do is awaken interest at the local level. That people shouldn't leave it to, the powers that be to just decide for them. To say we can do nothing about it. The Supreme Court seems to be saying there is something that you can do. If financial autonomy is the first way to start, then we now have to, pay closer attention to ensure that we're not just moving the sharing centers from the state level or from the federal level to a local level, where you will now have another group of elites who will just come up at the local government level trying to share what should belong to all of the people at that local government level. But then
elites want to go there too?
No, but every locality has its own group of elites, Chimney. Every locality. So what you might now see is that there will now be interest in what is going on there. Well, let us hope that will spur some competition in such a way that will bring about, that would demand accountability and good government from the people who live there. It shouldn't be that, because there is still the problem. People still say that, look, let us not forget that what we're looking at here is still a sharing system. We're not looking at a generating system. We're not looking at a system whereby people are making the money at the local level and asking to keep what they make at the local level. What we're looking at is money coming from the central, coming to the state, and then coming to the local. So before you know what's happening, people might be seeing it as some sort of sharing system. Then there are those who say that, look, right now, the local governments are already overburdened in the sense that they do not hire their own members of staff. If you speak to a local government chairman, he might tell you that he has far in excess of what he needs. Why? Because the Local Government Service Commission is not under the control of the local government chairman. And that for a long time, state governments have just used that as a sort of
slush fund.
No, not the funds themselves now, but the employment system has been some sort of welfareism system.
For their cronies, huh?
For their cronies and allies. So they have far much more in personnel than they truly need. So let's not see a situation whereby what the local governments are really getting might not really be sufficient at the end of the day, and state governments may be reluctant to support, given that, they'll say, well, you have your independence now, go and deal with it. So I still think that while this is a great step forward, there needs to be closer attention paid to what is happening at that particular level for people to, be aware, be interested in what is happening there. Know how much, for instance, is accruing to your local government per month. And I think the local government chairman, if they really want to do well should now begin to say, look, this is how much we're getting per month, this is how much our salaries are, this is what we have left for capital expenditure. So there needs to be more demand of good governance at that particular level.
I mean, some quick takes from me on that matter, because first, if any state doesn't want to support the local government area because of this, I think it will just be biting the nose to spite the face, because it won't even be reasonable if they were to try that. But there has to be that financial transparency. Both probably the NFIU, the anti-corruption agencies have also got to zoom in to local government. There has to be proper reporting lines, accountability lines, to make sure that whatever goes to those states are properly accounted for. It's not for you to go and share the money for local governments. It's not for you to go buy a new house, marry a new wife, buy new cars. Local government chairman, that is not what this is meant for. So as FG allocates those funds to local government areas, I think they themselves do well to also publish how much goes to who and where, so that everyone knows, because the media themselves, I mean, we also need to beam our searchlight on local governments. Let's know the names of local government chairmen. Let it all be out there, because now they've got no excuse. And you can't allow touts to be your local government chairman. Take an interest, participate, go out there. It doesn't have to be the big ruling parties. Little parties, if you have somebody in your locality who is strong enough, go in there. And maybe, what if INEC conduct elections in local governments in the country?
Yeah, there's that demand already. But who knows? I think that we need to put more pressure on the CX
to do the
better.
right things.
To do better.
Well, maybe it might take another law, another Supreme Court to do that for us. So we're back in a moment, everyone. Don't go away.